that started introducing me to to the art world. And I noticed that I was getting really good at lettering, and so I started to explore a little more. And so I think the first books that I ever came across during my little, research within like calligraphy and lettering were these right here. So we have like the Encyclopedia of Monograms, which features, a little design work that you'll see like in logos, lettering, but you'll also see different letter styles. And so a lot of these styles started to intrigue me and catch my attention. A lot of flourishing, which I'll talk about that later. A lot of stuff from the from Germany. It's a lot like Old English. Gothic script is what they call it. You can see them right here too. A lot of like embellishing goes into it, more. And so I started to reflect on why it was that just really caught my attention as a kid or growing up. And I noticed that my friends used to do this type of style writing all the time, and you would probably see them on the walls in the neighborhoods and the streets, and then so I got inspired a lot by that. And so I started to look around, and I noticed that a lot of Old English was, you could see it on diplomas, you could see it on obituaries, you could see it on newspapers, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence. And so I started to really embrace this and really learn about it. And so collecting books was kind of like my thing, that way I could soak up all the knowledge that I could in order to understand what it was that I was doing. Obviously, you can see more letter styles like this, which is my favorite, and you'll see me do this a lot. So it's kind of like a Gothic script. Yeah, I think that's what that one's called. Modern German. It's called Modern German. So I do a lot of modern German lettering, but also came across this book right here, Ornate Pictorial Calligraphy, which is more of like a fancy style that you'll see in like you'll probably see them in like wedding invitations too. But as you can see, it's more like cursive and more flourishing. So it's all about the pen strokes, the line work. What else? Let's see. So you can see like birds. Got some birds in there. And so a lot of this started to really intrigue me as a youngster, learning about it. So I started to, practice my hand at it. And because growing up, my creative artistic background was based on graffiti. And so, I grew up doing graffiti on the streets, and that's where I learned a lot of like lettering styles and stuff. Obviously, ran into some trouble with the law here and there, but I think as I grew older, I started to really like take it serious and see what else I could do with it. So I came across books like these where you see on wedding invitations, right? So it's more like copper plate, calligraphy, cursive style. Oh, we have a question?
Yeah, so Gina said,
hello, Gina.
Will the names of the books be posted?
Oh yeah, I'll post the books. I'll share these with you guys. That way you guys have resources, because I think this workshop is only an hour, and obviously I can't teach everything I know within an hour. So like I said in the title of the workshop is it's going to be a basic introduction to calligraphy. So I obviously want to give you guys I want to present you guys with the resources first, and then I'll do like a little demonstration here and there afterwards of these different styles that I've learned, and then we'll try and do them together as well. Just to get your ideas flowing, just to help you guys expand your mind and realize that you don't have to conform to just like a pencil or a pen. You can use different things, different materials, and that's what I learned through even doing graffiti. Like it's not just spray paint that you use. You use markers and you learn how to use them, because all of these are like tools. From a pencil to a fancy looking pen. You know what I mean? It looks like a blade. So it's just learning how to use your tools, because obviously it's like a carpenter. If you don't know how to use your tools, you're going to injure yourself or do the job wrong. So that's what I think that's what my primary focus will be today. Obviously, I'm gonna try and create more workshops in the future, but for now, we're just gonna go to the fundamentals and then just have some fun with it.
Let's give them a chance to
Oh yeah. So let's do an introduction. My fault. I got a little too carried away right now. So
we'll go around, and if you can introduce your name, your preferred name, maybe your pronouns, and also what your, like I said earlier, why you joined this workshop and what you're looking forward to.
I don't mind starting. My name is Yvonne. I joined the workshop because I too like to write and doodle, and I like to do it more. So I'm enjoying learning more about it. What were the other questions? I can't remember.
We look forward to.
and what do you look forward to within this workshop? What are you looking to get out of it?
Just what you said, how to use tools. Like
Okay.
because I do want to kind of expand my collection of tools, and so it's kind of good to know what to look for.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
how to use
okay.
them.
Cool.
Thanks.
What else we got?
It's okay.
Sorry.
Penny, really quick. My name's Penny, and I'm 11, and I've been very interested into art.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
Nice. What else? Next, we have Gina.
Oh yeah, sorry. So I'm the same. Like I have a passion for art. I love letters. I love lettering. One of my inspirations is my brother. Like he just gets down on lettering by his own creativeness. One of my problems is I'm not creative. Like I can draw things by looking at them. I can write things by looking at the style and copying the style, but I can't just freehand it from my mind. I can't just, here's a blank page and let me just start lettering and drawing. Like I have to like look at the things. So I just want to get more, more skills, more practice, and like learn the tools. And that's what I want to get out of it. Just the different types of tools and the ink, different types of ink. Like I see on your Instagram, like you with that white ink on that chalkboard. I'm like, man, that's just like, it looks dope, So just more information, more techniques, and just to get better at, my skills, or what the skill I do have that I think.
All right, it's all good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. We have Christine. Or who else? Who else is that?
Oh, I went. It's actually Penny who's on. It's just under my name. But
okay, cool. Thank you for being here, Penny. And then we have Kari.
Oh, hi, it's Carrie.
Oh, Carrie.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just really interested in learning. I work at the library, so I know a lot of my teens would love to, they're interested in this kind of art and stuff. So yeah, so definitely. So that's where I'm kind of going with it. But I'm like she said before, I can't just do it off the top of my head. I have to see it. So then once I see it, then I can do it.
Okay, cool. Thank you. We have Kelly.
So Kelly said, I have no camera or audio, but they want to learn the basics.
Okay, cool. Whoa, man, you're gonna learn something today, so it's cool. We have Mario.
If you want, we can just get rolling. Thank you so much for introducing everybody.
Oh, all right.
And if you want to just put in the chat at some point, you're welcome to, but we'll let Daniel just take it away.
All right, cool. So I'm just gonna go off the top, or improvise. I've never really presented like this, but we're gonna get it. So I don't know in the kids, but does everybody have pencils? At least 2 pencils, hopefully 2 of them. Yeah, we got a hand raised right there. Okay, cool. Let's see. Oh, man. I'll continue. Can you see that? Oh yeah, cool. So I have a second screen. I don't know if you guys can see the pen, the paper, but so when I first got started, I learned that you can put 2 pencils together, and what that does is that with these 2 pencils, you can do like a little rubber band around it, right? That way, it doesn't look like you're using chopsticks, or put a tape around it. So with these two pencils would be the equivalent of a flat pen or a flat marker, right? So both of them you'd be able to do like some type of calligraphy. And so in my style, what I love to do is the Gothic Old English type. And so I think I'm gonna just draw my name, that way you guys can see. That way you guys can see like how it maneuvers and how what kind of lines you'd be able to do. Let's see, yeah, let's see. Right here. Oh yeah, you can see it. Let's see. Oops. All right. So what I like to think of these two pencils is that the front one. Oh man, is that, oh man, where's the camera at?
You know what? Double tap on your screen. Oh, there, yeah. On the camera that you want to look at, your overhead.
This one?
Mhm.
Oh, it says
Spotlight.
spotlight for everyone.
Or you know, yeah, spotlight for everyone. There we go.
Oh, cool. So pardon my my fingernails. I was just painting yesterday.
Where are we painting?
Oh, I was doing a box truck. I was painting a box truck with my friends. So kind of let's see. Damn, this is gonna be a little tricky.
Can you turn it on, like on a swivel?
Oh yeah. Oh, see, man, that's what's up. All right, cool. So with these two pencils, I would put them together. Oh yeah, right there. Ooh, yep. Oh damn. Right here. Okay. So with these two pencils, I would put them together, and I would try to, I guess, do a letter, right? So we'll do. So I guess a uppercase D in Old English will look like this. So I would start with that back one first. I'd have it touch, and then with the next one, I'd have it close that line. So it was all just about flicking it, kind of like connecting the dots with two pencils. So in order to learn how to do these kind of lines, I was playing around with it, right? So I wanted to figure out how to do a straight line, broad edge, right? With both of them together. So I would kind of play around, boom, straight, right? And depending on how I held it, it would be thinner or narrower, right? More thinner than this one. This one's more fatter. If I wanted to go straight across, I'll play like that. Like I said, depending on what kind of angle you have it at, right? So boom. And that's all that's all I would practice, just the lines. I would curve it, right? Just to see how I could do it, how to make a curved line. So you got a curvy line, and then we go downwards. You know? And I would play around and try to do like a circle. Like I said earlier, make the first one touch first, and then the back one comes afterwards. And again, boom. And now you had a O. So I started to understand that all I was doing was connecting lines and connecting dots, right? So I took a graphic design course one time, and my professor said that all a line is a dot that went for a walk, right? So we're taking a dot for a walk. And so it made sense. I was like, okay, that's what a line is. You know, so just playing around with it. You know? And so I started to compare this tool, right? I started to compare these with the broad edge marker, right? So you guys could have like a Sharpie or whatever, as long as it's flat, then you're good.
We just switch the spotlight to my phone.
Oh
It's
yeah,
more
for sure.
stable. So go on your tablet.
That'll work.
So scroll over to the right slide.
Slide to the right.
Or look from my screen.
Right here?
That one, yeah, make that one spotlight.
Spotlight camera. Cool. All right, I'm gonna
I'll
take
take
this
your
one out. Yeah, for sure. Thank you. All right, back in business. So I went from this pencil, let's see, from a pencil to discovering some ink. Right, I discovered this Chinese Sumi ink that I bought at the Asian market in Sacramento. It was called Domos. That was a perfect spot to go to at that time. So their ink, I believe that they made it with vegetables. I think they called it vegetable ink or something like that. From what I read in the instructions, or in the, yeah, it was the instructions. And then I came across this pen, which is called a Pilot Parallel pen. You can take it apart. I haven't cleaned it in a minute, but it comes apart. Let's see. Right here it'll have a refill, and so you could drop some ink in there. But then I discovered I got tired of buying cartridges, so instead of doing that, I decided to just dip it in the ink, right? So comparing this stroke with this one, I wouldn't need two pencils anymore. I could just go like this, right? And it would be a little more, it looks a little more fancier, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing, right? Except these, you're using two pencils and you could probably color it in later on. And this one, it's just one stroke. Do everything with one stroke, right? And like I said earlier, I needed to learn how to use my tool and how it worked, right? And so I just started to experiment, doing the lines again, dipping it, right? Doing more lines, going downwards, boom, downwards again, right? And then from using this knowledge to the knowledge of lettering, right? As I said earlier, I showed you guys earlier, right? Earlier, I believe Gina said that she can't work from, I guess, from memory. I can't work from memory either. I can't really draw like that as well. But as I was doing this more repetitively, it just became muscle memory to me, After a while, always locking myself in my room when I was a kid, right? Putting on some music and then just practicing in my notebook every day. Boom, After a while, I think I started doing this when I was 16, started really getting the hang of calligraphy, and then doing my research in school afterwards. I don't know, it just became muscle memory to me. So I don't even have to look at a book, but we'll look at this one for now. So like the J right here has a lot of curves, and I started to practice that. I started to look at different letters that really appealed to me, right? So the ones with a lot of curves to me were more fun to do. So I would just play around and just practice, right? So I would do a J, like I said, from the top, as I did right here. This was the top of the J right here. And I started to learn how to go thinner every time. I started to learn, okay, that helps me go a little thinner. So as you can see right here, let's see, from the flat tip, I would play around with how to utilize that. Like as I did earlier, I was starting with the first point and then dropping the second one to create the next line. It's the same way I do it with this, right? So I start with the front one first, and then I drop the next one, and then flick it. So I don't know if everybody can see. Damn. Let's see. Is everybody doing good? I can't, man. It's hard for me
I know
to.
you got no eyes.
It's hard for me to.
I'll turn this way.
Yeah, it's all good. For
Well,
sure.
your hands to be the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Or no, I think that's it.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
better.
nice. Okay.
Cool. So yeah, I'm not sure. I want to check in with everybody, see how they're doing, or I don't know. It's just I feel like I'm talking to myself over here. I'm like,
You're doing a great job. Thanks.
okay, cool. Damn. So from there, I started to experiment with other things. So I seen a highlighter and I was like, yo, like that's the same thing as a kind of the same thing as the last one, as you can see, but it's more slanted, you know. This one more flat, it looks like a blade. This one more slanted, more of a marker. And so I started to play with that one as well, right? So figuring out how to do the strokes, right? Playing with it, learning how to angle my hand, right? Angling your hand always helps. And one of the main things, one of the key elements of calligraphy, of creating a nice fine line or a good broad line, is utilizing your entire arm instead of just using your wrist. You know, you don't want to catch carpal tunnel or arthritis on this hand, you know, so just mobilize your entire hand, pull it, you know, pull the whole thing. It's all a one body motion, as I learned through graffiti, right? Through graffiti, when you're painting, it's like you're utilizing your entire hand, your entire body. And so I think that translated well with my calligraphy and doing the strokes and creating movement within the letters. So that was one thing that I really learned that was really important to understand, was utilizing my entire arm in order to create a good fine stroke or a good stroke. You know, so as I said, your entire arm, and then moving it, right? Learning how the marker, how it moves, you know, from thick to thin, right? Or from thin to thick, and then thin again. It's all about moving, utilizing your hand to move the tip, but utilizing your arm to move the entire marker. So that was a key element in my, I guess, my understanding or my self-education of teaching myself this whole calligraphy thing. So yeah, the highlighters are pretty fun to use. And then I started to experiment with other things like a brush, right? Because I was also painting and painting with acrylic paints and stuff like that. So I dipped, as I said earlier, I dipped the pen in the ink, I dipped the brush in the ink, and then I learned its ways, right? So my favorite one is the flat brush, because it's the same thing as the earlier one that I said, the Pilot Parallel pen, so it's flat as well. So this one is a 3/8 size is 3/8, I believe. The other nib, this nib, I forgot what it was, but I'll put them in the link, you know, just to have the resources on. But I learned that in order to use a brush, you have to learn how it moves as well, right? So I had to learn how to tame it because it's softer, you know, and it's a little more. It's like with the marker, you're like on training wheels, right? And then with the double pencils, you're on training wheels as well. But then with the brush, it's like it's softer and it's more like you can't really feel the tip of your pen or pencil onto the paper, right? Like that's another thing too. It's like with your tools, you're able to feel the paper, right? Feel how the ink or how the pen drops onto the paper, and so you're able to become more in tune with it, right? So it's kind of like a meditation, or it's kind of like a spiritual experience in a way, you know. But with the brush, it's a lot more. It could be a little wilder, right? It's like a little wild horse or whatever. So I started to play with it as well, right? So playing, you know, the pressure that you put onto the brush, it'll determine how fat your line will be. The less pressure, you know, you could do a little finer, you know. Also another thing that was really important in my understanding of creating these letters and these styles was how to stabilize my hand, how to stabilize it, right, in order to create a good line as well. So I use my pinky, right? So pinky's out. That's kind of like it's a stabilizer in a way. It helps you, you know, maneuver through the paper with the brush. So we'll do another line with the pinky, as you can see. Let's see. So it's all about the brush strokes and calligraphy, because I guess that's the definition of it in the dictionary. You know, it's a beautiful writing or embellished writing. So it's more about the fine line work and how you're able to create movement within the letters. And it's also about the brush strokes. So from going from thin to thick, and then thin again, you'll see that a lot. So that's what I was just doing, just practicing the lines, experimenting with different utensils, playing with the line work, the brush strokes.
Can you do the word water?
Yeah. And so from there, I started to once I was more confident in my line work, I started to look at I look for inspiration, right? So in my bio, you'll see that a lot of my inspiration comes from like from the people in my community, from song lyrics, you know, to poetry, to whatever I read, right, or to the conversations that I hold with people. And so I guess today's theme is it's an eco-friendly or what was it?
Eco creative series.
Eco creative series. So I think when I think of eco, I think of like the environment and mainly water, because man, water is important to us. We're 85% water, you know. So we'll do the all right water and these different tools. That way you guys can see like the variety of line work that these tools help you create. We'll do it with the Old English, my favorite lettering. So we'll start with the W with the brush. We're gonna use a brush. So we'll do first brush stroke, right? It's just a little curve. Like I said earlier, all we're doing is connecting dots. Another brush stroke, connecting dots, connecting lines, you know, little curve here. Boom. And that's all it is. It's just, you know, just curves and lines and straight lines and brush strokes here and there. So the paper I'm using here is a watercolor paper. It's more durable. It won't create any kind of fuzziness if you're using any kind of water, like watercolors or anything that's based on that's water based. I'll go through that as well with different papers. Another little line here. You know, it's a little curve. And that curve on the bottom, straight line. That's all you're doing. All you got to think about is just drawing lines, connecting dots. Don't stress anything else and just be in the present. I think that's one thing that I really came to love about doing calligraphy, is that it kept me in the present moment. Like I said earlier, like a meditation in a way. I stopped judging my lettering, you know, and just going with it. So there's an A. Do you have any concerns or questions while I'm doing this? T. E.
Are there any people that we can find? Like, do you have any handles that I could?
Oh, yeah. I'll be able to share those as well. I have there's a lot of people that inspire me. Mainly, a lot of them aren't even calligraphers or lettering artists, but like abstract painters. I get a lot of ideas from them when it comes to color schemes. Designers, even like people who stitch and do like fabric art. I'm always looking at that.
Any names?
I gotta look at my phone.
We'll post them in the chat.
Oh yeah, for sure. So as you can see, the word water are little, you know, embellishments around there, you know, kind of like little decorations around it just to make it look fancier. think I brought that. Oh yeah.
I
Huh?
think we switched like a 1%.
Oh, you do? Let's see. Oh yeah, let's do it like this. So to create more balance within the design or within the lettering, we just do the flourish. Do another flourish right here. Yeah, just to make it a little more, look a little more fancy. You know. Ooh. So you have the word water. Do I have any questions? Other questions? Or anything in the chat? Awesome. Cool. Thank you. What was that? Oh, chat. We have 19. Oh. Cool. Yeah. Press flat. Oh, that was earlier, huh? Okay, cool. So, I don't know. All right. So I also brought, let's see, I also brought even just examples of my work. That way you guys don't think I'm just, talking. Let's see. So through, I was saying earlier, through my experimentations and learning about calligraphy, I came across different techniques and different mediums, right? So some of them were watercolor. So as you can see right here, you can see the different color blends that I did. And that was all through using this little pen right here. So I would dip one color and then dip it into the next and then write on watercolor paper, right? So a lot of these are quotes. Let's see, more color blends, right? This is more like a hip hop graffiti style. We have this one as well. It's more like a calligram, so it's kind of like a mandala. More lettering. And then we have my favorite, which is the black letter style. Damn, the glare is kind of killing it. It's all good. So these are all that I've done throughout my travels as well. Whether it's sitting at a hotel or sitting at a park or being at a community center, you see more of the mandala calligram style calligraphy. And these are all just experimentation. Like I said earlier, dipping my pen into another color and then softening it up or diluting it with another color. Some more kind of like fall colors. Yep. Some more just traditional-ish calligraphy, black letter, Gothic script. So every champion was once a contender. So as you guys can see, like the many different types of styles that I've come across just through experimenting, just to learning about different cultures as well, how they write, their styles, their lettering styles. I think it all has just inspired me into I guess, doing the kind of lettering that I do now. Do you have any questions? No questions?
Yeah, sometimes people like to observe.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll just keep writing or whatever, just to have fun with it. As I said earlier, I'm using watercolor paper right now, but we could also use computer paper, printing paper, which is these right here. And the difference is that if you use some ink with the brush, sometimes that ink will bleed through that paper, through that computer paper. Or, watch, we'll see right now. We'll write wind. See, it's a lot more, it looks slimier anyway, like you'll see the bleeding in a little bit as well. So instead of using a brush, you could switch over to maybe like a highlighter marker. Usually like a permanent marker will also bleed through the back, but you'll be able to use it anyways.
I have two comments. Gael said your work's incredible.
Thank you.
And Gina wrote, that's my issue, the correct ink for the correct paper.
Oh yeah. So I just don't use ink, like any kind of ink on this kind of printing paper. I would rather use it on the watercolor paper right here. You can buy these at Big Blick, Michael's, Hobby Lobby. I usually go to Hobby Lobby. I'll also share those. I'll put those in the link as well, just so you guys could, experiment with different kinds of papers, because that's important too. A lot of times people get discouraged when the first time they try it because they're like, man, I don't like how it's coming out. Well, it's because you got to go to the store and fill on the papers. You know what I mean? You got to be a weirdo about it. Just fill on them. Just feel like the different textures, like the watercolor paper. It'll have more texture on it, as opposed to compared to, your regular basic printing paper. It's thinner and it can't really withhold the ink. But I mean, that's just how it is. That was my that's how I came to learn about different papers. I like the poster paper is always perfect. It's more for like markers and stuff like that. Also Rada markers. Oh, where I left it though. Oh, right here. So these right here are my favorite. These are acrylic based. You could actually buy these at my friend's shop over there by the mall. I'll put the link to his shop as well. That way you guys could go, pay him a visit because he gets a little lonely over there. But he has these markers for sale, and so what these are more just broad. These aren't chiseled like your markers, right? They're just broad, boom, poster markers. And so, but it's the same thing. You play with the stroke, bam. And so these are refillable as too. These are refillable. The markers aren't, but just unscrew it. I haven't unscrewed this one yet, but you can buy yourself a little bottle at my friend's shop as well. You take the top off, boom, and then you fill it up with your favorite color. He has all kinds of colors. He has the colors of the rainbow over there. And you just screw it back, and boom, you're set to go. But sometimes my issue with these is that I get lazy sometimes, so I don't really take care of my utensils like I should, and so it'll dry up, right? And you can order these because my friend, he be liking sometimes to order these, but you can order these online. I'll put the link on the description, I guess. Oh, the name of the shop? Well, it's after the shirt right here that I'm wearing. So it's called Writer's Culture. Yeah, he just reopened this month. He has a new location. It's perfect. We'll be having shows there. I'll probably be doing more workshops in there. That way you guys could, stay up to date about what I'm doing and take some more classes, some in-depth classes. That way I get used to these kind of workshops through Zoom. But yeah, these are my favorite because look at the quality of the stroke, right? I love the brush stroke lines. right? It gives it more texture. And I could go thinner with it too. Look at that. Damn. The pigment is perfect. Like I said, just play with it. Oh, that. So that's the line work right there. You can go thin, play with it. It gives it like an Arabic script, Arabic calligraphy type of texture. I love that style as well, you know, so. Their style is also about going fat and thick. Quality of the lines. You can do diamonds. Brush stroke. Another diamond. So these are a lot of fun. And then you have these markers right here, which is Copics. I also discovered that I could just dip these into ink instead of having to refill them all the time or bring them back to life with rubbing alcohol. I hope this one works. I haven't used it in a while. So I would dip it as well, just like a brush. And it's the same thing as the earlier one, which is the fat one, but it's more chiseled. It's like a marker. It's slanted. So you have to slant your hand, right? Slant your hand. Pinky out. Yep, when in doubt, pinky out, you know, make sure you have your other hand to stabilize the paper. That way it doesn't move unless you have tape, but I don't even do that. And then just do your lines. I love the quality of this one as well because like the gradient from really dark to light and then the brush stroke streaks. I can use that to my advantage all the time. And these markers work better on the poster paper that you could find at the store. 2 for $1 for the white, 1 for $1 for the black one. So I'm just throwing that one out there. Next time you're at the dollar store, you know, buy yourself some poster paper. So as I did a stroke here, I'm gonna just do a letter. So I'm gonna do another stroke. So now we have a tail. And one thing about lettering and the letters that I started to understand is that they're like people, right? We all have our own little style. We all like to dress a certain way. We have our own little swagger, the way we talk. If you're from the Bay, you know, you got the little Bay slang. You're from the Valley, you have a different kind of slang. But it's just like that. Every letter is a person. So we're just stylizing this letter right here, giving it another little whip, right? So this right here, I look at it as like the backbone of the letter. This is just a little embellishment. And then we have a whip as like a tail. And then we're going to create the head of the letter. But we want it to look a little fancy, right? We want it to look good. So now we have a head. And it looks like a P, because it can be a P. I could leave it like that. But I'm just gonna keep going because I feel like I can keep going. I can keep stylizing it. So I'm gonna add a kick to it. You know, I'm gonna add a leg to it. Now it's an R, right? So like I said earlier, you're just connecting dots, you're connecting lines, and you're just going about your day, just, you know, just making sure everything is looking cool. And if I want to keep stylizing it, then I'll keep stylizing it. But the problem with stylizing it, some people go too far and it loses the value or the essence of the letter, you know. But so that just comes with experience, with time. I'm still learning how to do that, but I feel like I could add a little more right here. Yeah. And so I'm gonna just leave it like that. You know, you have your leg and then another whip, and then you have your head, the backbone, the spine, the tail, the back of it, you know. This could be like a little arm right here saying, hey, yo, what up? And if I want to add like some diamonds, I could probably add it to the space right here, right? Diamond, just give it some little flavor to it. You know, if I feel like I need to fix anything, maybe add an extra whip right here. Add a little whip right there. So that's pretty much the I guess that's how I see letters. That's how I understand letters. Yeah, that's pretty much how I've grown to understand them. They're all their own person, you know. They all need their space, right? Because maybe if I want to add another letter up here, you don't want it to get too close because it's like, man, you're invading my bubble, you know, you're invading my privacy right here. So you always got to think about space. You know, it's like design. You're doing a design pretty much. You have to think about space, balance, you know, the harmony between the letters, right? So I'm gonna redo this letter. All right. So I'm gonna go fast on this one because, like I said, everything to me with these letters is pretty much muscle memory now after years of practicing. Since I was 16, I've been practicing. You know, you just don't stress about the strokes, let them be. You know, they all form part of the letter, the essence of the letter. I can use this fade to my advantage, right? Boom. And I'm going to use the same marker. What I learned is that the more I tilt it this way, the thinner I can make the next letters, the lowercase letters. I was using it like this earlier, so I'm gonna kind of use it. Yeah, more like a 45-degree kind of. So you'll see. Lowercase e. Use the tip of it right here. That's the tip. So the tip, I point it to me. And then how you maneuver it is how thinner you can make it. Like, just look how my hand moves. I can use a tip to connect that last line. I think I'm gonna run out of space, but we have extra paper, so it's okay. Don't stress yourself about this too much, because at the end of the day, it's art. You know, you fix things, it's not the end of the world. Unless you're doing a job, and it's the last paper. There's been times where I misspelled so many things that I had to start all over. But that just comes with learning how to stay focused. So we're going to make this a little longer. And I said earlier, balance and harmony within the letters is important. So I'm going to make the T uppercase. That way it matches the R and it creates that balance. So that the P is in the middle, you know. That's just how you have to think about it. At least that's how I think about it. Other people think differently, but it's okay. Top of the T. Then we're going to curve it like in the Old English style. Draw this line right here. Respect, you know, for respect my privacy. We could add some little, splashes here and there, because that's what I like to do. Just to make it look more artsy, you know, and nothing doesn't have to be all perfect. More expressive. So we could add some flourishes right here to balance it out. That way the bottom kind of matches the top of the T. So now you're thinking of how to balance everything out, as I said earlier.
Now, your surface right now is paper. What do you do when it's the wall?
Oh, it's the same thing. I can't start all over. The walls are my favorite because I don't know, there's something about them. The texture, everything, every wall is different. You know, you can't just go to the store and buy a wall like, hey, I want to get this wall right here. You know, it's all about exploring. That's what I learned through graffiti. It was like I spent so much time in the railroad tracks, especially after, because at one point my room was like my sanctuary where I could, you know, lock myself in, put some music, and just practice my letters. But then I got into some trouble and my dad took my door away. So after that, the train tracks became my sanctuary, you know, and that's how I started to learn about different walls, how different spray paints react to different surfaces. Yeah, and that's just how I think that all of it just came together. Now that I look back on it, it's like maybe, yeah, it should have happened. If it didn't happen, I would have probably been stuck doing something else. So, but yeah, that's just yeah, walls are different, paper's different, cardboard's different, chalkboards, man, even sidewalks with chalk. What I would do is crush up the chalk, add a little bit of water, dip some brush, and it works like ink, you know, and it works like ink. So that's just, man, it just comes with experimenting with things, you know. A lot of the times, I used to throw away my brushes that became really hard for the paint because, like I said earlier, I get lazy sometimes and I don't take care of my tools, so I have to pay for it, right? So I paid for it, but this time I was experimenting and I decided to dip my brush into some paint into some paint onto the canvas, and it created this different distinct effect. And so after that, I just started using it because it reminded me of the calligraphy tip that I had before, which is harder. It also reminded me of the Arabic calligraphy where they use bamboo sticks. They create little chisel tips and they just dip their brush into the ink and they flow onto the paper. And so I utilized that knowledge with this hardened brush. I kind of scraped it on the sidewalk just so it could create a little smooth tip. And then I would dip it into the paint and throw it onto the canvas, and it would work the same way it did with the Arabic script. And so a lot of it was just, you know, just experimenting, like I said. So that helped out. A lot of people would always ask me like how I did that effect, and I would just be like, man, just I don't know, man. I don't know. It just came to me. So yeah, I think that was that's how I think a lot of it, a lot of time when I come across different techniques is because I messed up. You know, I messed up somewhere, and it's kind of like life. You know, like you got to make mistakes sometimes in order to learn from them. And so it's just the same understanding, like how to come up with different technique. You know, I didn't go to the store. I didn't go to school to learn these techniques. I had to figure them out myself, and now I'm just happy to share them with you all. Cause man, I feel like I just need to share it, you know. So let me see. Do I have any comments? I just want to check in with everybody, see how I'm doing. Yeah. Where's the chat room?
Angela's on call, right? Angela Maxon.
Who?
Angela, is she on the?
Angela Maxon?
No, she's one of our artists.
Oh, she is?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up. Hello, how you doing? Oh, your work is fire. Thank you. Where's the chat room?
How are we on?
What happened?
How are we on?
Oh, we're on pretty good time. We're at 4:55. So man, I hope everybody enjoyed the little demonstration. I wish I could. It's a lot easier when like everybody's in person because I can just vibe off. You know what I mean? I can just vibe off people and just be like, "Yo, how you doing?" Or do it like this or do it like that. But either way, I still appreciate everybody coming through and doing this. I'm gonna share some books actually too. That way you guys could get an idea of where to go. Actually, there's this website where you can find books for like $1, and that's where I got a lot of my books from. Hey, thank you. So you guys could go to Libris.com. Oh, you'll find books that are banned, books that are rare, all kinds of books for like $1 or $2. It just depends what kind of book you're trying to get. But I got a lot of these for like $5 on there. So Libris.com. They usually have a lot of deals in there too. You want to get watercolor paper if you want to play with some ink, some watercolor too. You can play with that as well. Like I said, you could try these brushes. The flat brushes are my favorite. You can buy these at Michael's, you know. Also these Pilot parallel pens. Oh, I have this other size too. Where's the other one? So I have 2 sizes. I have the biggest one and then the smaller one. Like I said, you can just dip these in ink. Dip these in ink and you don't have to buy more cartridges because that's just a little money waster right there. The classics, right? You got to have the number 2 pencils tied up together. That way you learn the ways of the technique, the ways of the brush. You know, you apply this understanding of the strokes to a marker, and then you can just go from there. Just practice the lines. You can try highlighters too, you know. Highlighters are always good because they're a chisel tip. You got the chisel tip right here. And if they ever become a little fat or a little worn down, you can grab a blade. You can get yourself an X-Acto knife. X-Acto knife. You can get an X-Acto knife and you can just, you know, trim off the fat, and then you're good again. You're back to getting some more quality strokes. Let's see. I think that's all I brought today. Oh, you gotta have these in your pocket. You know, you gotta have these in your arsenal. They're called. What do I admit?
It's okay.
Oh, all right. So we have these bronze markers that you can buy on my friend's shop. I'll drop the location on the description.
What we'll do is we'll put all this on the track page. We'll do a debrief post.
Oh, cool. Yeah, for sure.
All those
So, man, all the materials that I have here, I'll be sharing those, and then I'll also be sharing a little more too, because I didn't bring everything that I had. Obviously, you want to get yourself some, you know, something to start with. Some of these Ornate Pictorial Calligraphy books. This one, oh yeah, this one's by E.A. Looper. So that's a good book to have, you know. Has all these old school type of designs, flourishing for birds. These are fun to do. A lot of it, you can grab yourself some tracing paper and then just trace them, you know, just so you can learn, just to, you know, just get an idea of how to do the strokes. And then you have these, which have, you know, the little little workbook. It's kind of like a workbook. So it has different quotes that you could copy. That you can use as references. So this is all just cursive style calligraphy. You can use these. You can make money off these, man. You can create wedding invitations, all that stuff. T-shirts, like I've been doing lately, I've been using bleach and dropping them on black shirts, and then creating stuff like this. So this one is called the Universal Penman. This is actually a really old school book. It's pretty rare too. I got lucky that I bought it on that website. You'll probably be able to find it for like $10, when in other places they're a little more. So you can see things like these, right? Boom. So I use these as like references to do stuff more, like, I guess, more in my style. So, you know, just the old school way of how people used to write, because we don't even teach calligraphy in classes no more, or I mean cursive handwriting. So, like I said, the embellishments, you know, it has, I guess, the definition of friendship. It just goes like it talks about virtues, right? So different virtues, or how to, you know, what was that called? Or how to get riches, you know. The little flourishes, honor, humility, and then it's all written in Spencerian script. Let's see more, some painting. So this is actually one of my really, really favorite books. It's like a hidden treasure for me. I got lucky that I found it. I think I found one of them in the library in Sacramento. That's been one of my main things. I always make sure that every city that I visited, I go to the bookstores or the libraries and the museums, just to, you know, just see what I could find. And so I found other books in different bookstores as well. Yeah, so this is my favorite book right here. One of my favorite books, The Bills of Exchange. Oh, I'll put that in the thing too. But yeah, that's these are all just, I guess, my inspirations, where I get a lot of inspiration from. So
Awesome.
hell yeah.
Well, I think we're.
Any last comments? Oh yeah, make sure you give me a good review on Yelp.
Everybody, thank you so much for joining and participating in the chat. We will be sharing those additional resources, so stay tuned on Instagram is our favorite platform for sharing items. And so again, we want to say thanks to our partners. The Stockton Earth Festival are the ones that sponsored this wonderful workshop, and 7 more workshops that are coming. So if you wanted to sign up for any more, you can find that through the Hatch workshop website or from our Stockton Chai bio. And we really appreciate you. And so tag our friend here, tag Stockton Chai. We want to spread the love. Tag us in your art. Make something. Yeah. Maybe with water, something about Earth Day. So we'd really love that.
Also, I actually have a website. I forgot to add that, but you can find that on the link in my Instagram bio. I have some art there. I've been posting some of the bleached shirts that I've been creating. You could also, you know, drop an order, show some support as well, or share me. You know, share me with your folks. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you'd like a mural done, or, you know, some kind of artwork that you'd like to commission me for.
You taking apprentices right now?
Oh, I'm not taking apprentices. I would like to in the future, but I need to have my own little space first. Especially with this, I don't know with this COVID thing, but let's see, chat room. We have 6. Thank you. Man, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone. Oh, put this together, looking for the future, man. It's cool. Yeah. That's the chat right there. Yeah, it's pretty much.
So you can meeting, and we'll put the recording on the Stockton Chai YouTube channel. So if you want to check it out later or share it with people who missed it, it'll be available within the week. Cool.
Thank you all for coming through. I appreciate the opportunity to have shed a little bit about what I do. And I look forward to creating more, I guess, hosting more workshops and having you guys there. Just stay tuned. Later.